hey, 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 hey. Hey, 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 we go, 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 Good morning, everybody. There's Ross McCoy. Oh, hold on. There you go, Ross. Sorry about
Check one, check two. Hey, guys.
A little out of practice.
To be or not to be, that is the question.
Little out of practice. Good morning, everybody. Let's go back and see who all's in here. Tracy, first one in. SJ, Ricky, Neo Del Rio, Kendall Hill, Shell, Ghost of Manu Bull, Captain Pizza Pants, Adams in here, Keyed Up BDM, Unumi. Unumi reminds me of, you know when people talk about food and they use the term umami?
Mm-hmm.
I always, when people say that, it's just got that umami flavor.
Mm-hmm.
For whatever reason, I always think cum. It's got cum.
Is it because when you come, you say, umami?
No, I don't know, but it's just because the word umami is so weird. I'm like, oh, yeah, it's salty.
Kind of jizzy.
Yeah, it's jizzy. Yeah. It's jizzy when people say, like, oh, it's umami. Because it's like a salty savory, right?
It's
umami.
Mushroomy, right? That's what I think.
Mushroom, that's cum. All day long, that's cum. Tell me it's not.
It's close. It's cum adjacent.
Cum adjacent. Let me turn down this jazz.
Yes, this apartment is convenient to
Already
all
tired.
walking paths downtown, and it is cum adjacent.
I'm already tired. I've only been here a couple of hours. All right. I was reading another news story about Mario Battelli. Remember the celebrity chef Mario Battelli?
Fat, redheaded
big,
Italian.
fat, red-haired Italian guy. And he'd wear orange Crocs. That was his signature thing. And that guy was a monster. He had like a series of female assistants, and he would do all the classics. Like he would not move his leg. Like he'd be, hold on, let me move my leg down. He would be like sitting like right here, and a girl would need to cross, and he'd be like, straddle me. I'm not moving my legs. And then he'd make them straddle, and then he'd hold their hips. He'd be like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Got your hips. You big fat monster.
The bad part about him being like that is that he looks like he is.
He does. He does. And it's the orange Crocs. And for a split second, I thought about getting a pair of orange Crocs, and I'm like, can't now. You never can. I have yellow Crocs, which is almost bad enough.
Is this? I think his like soups and stuff are still on the shelf, right? Are we
no,
still buying his
no.
soups
He got obliterated.
He's done?
Obliterated. Okay. He got obliterated.
Obliterate him.
Now, folks.
Oh my God, I'm lightheaded. One joke, I'm lightheaded. That's how weak I am.
I mean, if they're just straddling your legs, you put your hands on their hips, and you're like, hey,
if I dip, you dip, we dip.
I mean,
yeah.
These guys live in the gray area.
He was paying them $22,000 a year with no raise, and making them straddle him. That was a monster.
How's the soup though?
Delicious. All right. What are we doing here? We're starting with Tuesday. Tuesday, we need to do all of Tuesday ACT.
Yeah. And then
we're gonna do BDM show. Are there any other people in a van out front?
There's a few guys. Yeah, there's some people here.
All right. Just make sure that Tom knows. I know that the van is running. Put them on dog mode, like you do in the Tesla. You know, it's funny because I think people think I'm not driving because I just want a cooling off period for my car. It's not. I can't drive. I would have been driving, but I think I can because I've been doing ankle pumps, and I think I can because all you need to do is like tap.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna try it.
You can drive with your left foot, right?
I think I could, but it's a little weird. I haven't tried it yet, but I think I'm gonna try it today. I think I'm gonna like completely break the law. Another thing I thought about is putting my cane on the brake. And just keeping my hand on the thing and then having my hand on the cane on the brake, which seems really kind of cool.
But also, your car could drive itself, so I would make the argument that it would be
Here's the problem. Fine. You have to give it a kind of a go with one of my legs in order to stop it. Like, it's kind of a harsh movement. Like, you can't just you got to really hit it. You got to stomp it, like.
That's what canes are for.
And I don't think, that's what canes are for. All right. Would you like to begin, Mr. Van?
Yeah.
Here we go. In 3, 2,
Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. We are live on Twitch and YouTube, back from spring break. We'd love it if you join us. Just search at Tom and Dan Live wherever you watch your podcast. I'm in a podcast group on Facebook. It has over 70,000 people inside of it, and boy, do those people hate the fact that podcasts have morphed to video podcasts. Oh, they hate it. They hate it.
Well, I would make the argument that that's not a podcast.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
That's what they
I'm
say.
with them. because podcast is just talk radio.
That's what they say.
Digital talk radio.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
But my argument to them is, but if everybody is moving on in that direction, and that's the way that you cultivate new listeners, by putting out snippets and pieces, then how do you cultivate that with just audio-only pieces? It's a very difficult game you're playing. That's the only thing. That was my only caveat to this man, and boy, did he go off on me hard.
Well, you know what it is?
They're mad over there. They're older than me, too.
Ross,
I didn't think that, but did you know that most people starting new podcasts are older than me? No BS. I'm in this group. I've been studying it for like a full week.
Well, yeah, they just got into podcasts.
Yeah,
they're old now.
They're old. They're all in their 60s. Everyone starting podcasts are old, and we need to steal these people's money. We need to get in there and start taking these people's money now.
Ross McCoy's here.
Hey, guys. What's up? Speaking of old podcast guys.
I will say.
No. That would be us before you, sir. Hold on. I got to give you one of these.
There
you go.
I've noticed a lot of people, and I do this, where like old podcasts that I used to listen to, I'll follow them on social media. And then I'll see snippets of their podcasts on social media, and then I'll tell myself, "Oh yeah, I still listen to these podcasts."
But you don't.
I don't.
We have a lot of those.
I do it with Rogan now. Like I don't listen.
People do it with us. They listen to snippets of us on ACT on the way home, right? They'll catch
on social media.
Yeah, like last night. Do you know how many emails I got from last night's re-release of when we had Nikki Glazer in here?
Oh yeah.
And I got email, I got text messages. People are like, I'm like, man, you don't listen to the show. You got a glimpse of it, and now you're saying you're still a fan. You're not.
An ACT?
No.
How did she?
I worked really hard on that. I was
going to say, how did she say all that on the radio?
It took me 4 hours. It took me 4 hours to edit a 45-minute show.
Or, and this is possible, did I just make up that conversation in my own head? And she talked completely different. Okay.
It's
the most vulgar thing we've ever aired on the show.
And by vulgar, you mean amazing.
In the middle of it, 3.5 hours into editing it, Tom peeked his head around the corner and said, I don't know if we can do this, man. That's true. That's a true story.
I was like, I don't think it is worth your time.
Is here. Hey, can I tell you guys a story?
Is that a diaper?
My wife brought my diaper. No, my wife has. Every time my wife brings me pills, she brings me my pills. Am I allowed to say completely naked? Naked nurse. She brings me up here. I take my pills.
Why would your pills have clothes on?
She's like, here's your pills, and then she's completely naked. I could get used to this.
Stuff while I'm trying to do.
When she's completely naked, I'm like, I love it. I get my beautiful wife to bring me my pills naked.
I could have gotten Daniel some ice for.
Yeah, but you're not gonna get naked.
Over here.
You're not gonna get naked. Then do it.
All right. Have a special bag.
All right, thank you. For those that don't know, I had a full hip replacement, right hip. I forgot my ice bag. My wife brought my ice bag over. So we're good.
They know. And I'll ask you about how your recovery is going.
Can I tie the two subjects together real quick before
please.
Nikki Glazer and wives?
Yeah.
Nikki did that interview, and she talked how she talked, and I went home, and I was like, yeah, me and my wife are going to do that. And my wife immediately said to me when I started, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, it's too far. Yeah. I've tried to do it with Andrea. I can't do it.
Wanted nothing to do with it.
Yeah, I can't even do it. I can't even hard kiss Andrea.
So
you know what I mean? Like I gotta like church pecker and then
with that new hip, maybe
church pecker. That's what we should call priests.
The back to the podcast thing. It does seem like people are consuming or saying they are following people's podcasts, but just listening to the 30 seconds of the clip on social media of the podcast, and then that's how everybody's consuming podcasts.
What it is?
It's bizarre.
It's the people that say like, oh yeah, man, I loved him on Fallon. You don't watch Fallon. You watched a clip of Fallon that somebody posted on TikTok or Reels. You don't watch Fallon. You don't sit down at 11:35 and fire up the boob tube to watch The Roots. Hey. You don't do that anymore.
What's the difference, though? Because, I'll say, I love that Bill Burr set where he dressed down Philadelphia for 12 minutes or whatever and counted it. And I wasn't there. I wasn't throwing batteries at him or nothing. But, I've seen the video 100 times, and it's great, and I enjoy it. What's the difference anymore, stuff stuff exists
I
on
don't
the
think
internet,
there
on
is.
video. Yeah, it's all the same.
I don't think there really is a difference anymore. You're right.
That being said, I did buy 2 tickets to 2 different The Weeknd shows in Florida. So yeah.
Yeah, but you're like a super fan,
Yeah,
you
I am
know,
a
and I
groupie.
think that's cool.
Well, I guess the difference is you didn't really hear the show or consume the show. You just saw the preview. It'd be like watching a trailer to a movie and then seeing the actual movie,
Well,
right?
I
Okay,
think
fair enough.
do you still subscribe? So do you subscribe to Rogan even though you only consume him in clips now?
And when you approached the like button, did you smash it? You have to.
God, I hate that. Because I want them to.
I've
like,
said that before.
I know,
Yeah,
but
I've said smash the. I've only
Yeah.
not very often though. Not very often have I said smash it. Normally I say like and subscribe, and I get tired of saying that.
You're a caress guy. You ask them to caress the like
Yeah,
button.
kiss it.
Mhm.
Kiss that like button. Lick it.
So we did get back from spring break. How is your hip recovery going?
I will say that the first 2 days, I'm glad that I was able to come in here and we did a show with Dan Cummins. We did a Friday Free show. But as soon as I got those 2 shows done, and then that initial like couple of days of anesthesia, of the whatever, the you know, they pump you full of fluids, all this kind of stuff. Man, that 3rd and 4th day, this S hit me like a ton of bricks. Like it was terrible. Like I don't think I've ever been that sore in my life.
Yeah. And they cut your femur bone off and hammered a spike down into it.
And broke the bone and then wired it shut.
Yeah.
So how big was the incision though? At the end of the day,
You know, I still haven't seen it.
it's
so
it's
I
a
don't
small
know.
incision, right?
I think it is.
And that's
pretty,
like half the battle. I think that's why it's like a quicker recovery now, because they used to have to like slice your whole thigh open,
Yeah,
and
the
now
muscle,
now they just go in through a little tiny hole.
Yeah, the sore. It's a weird soreness too.
Yeah.
And as a person who
Deep.
is, I wonder. Like, I wish there would be a way to measure this, and I don't think there is. But you'll know what I mean. Like, if you could have the same hip replacement, and we could lay side by side, and you could measure our brains. I'm certain that there are things that I perceive that I feel that other people aren't going to feel.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like a weirdness.
You're hypersensitive.
Where I can feel like I can feel the metal in my body. Like I can feel it moving. Like I can feel that it's different in there now.
Yeah.
And it's kind of gross. Like if you think, I still haven't even looked at the photos yet.
Once you fully heal, that'll all go away.
Yeah. That's what everybody says. But right now, in that healing area, like I can feel the blood going from the thigh all the way down to my foot, or vice versa. I can feel when you move, I can feel like, well, that's new or that's different. Like it's crazy. It's a crazy feeling.
And sometimes sometimes you kind of miss the hurt. Like when I got my wisdom teeth taken out, they had to take a molar that had been impacted.
Yeah.
And it was just basically rotten, but like it had a little kind of chip missing on it, and I kind of liked rubbing it up against my other bottom molar. It would kind of make a little click, and I would do that once in a while. And once they took the molar out, I was like, that's gone. I can never do that again, you know, even though it wasn't a good thing or like good for me, but I kind of missed it.
I'll give you one. Like as I sit right now, no pain. That's weird. You know what I mean?
It's different.
Yeah, it is. Like I feel good. So I can see the end. It's just like regaining strength, I'm doing it letter of the law. I'm doing it like I'm not taking it too quickly, which you do feel like you can. Because yesterday was like the first day I think I kind of felt. Yesterday was like a week, or 2 weeks rather. From surgery, or actually today is 2 weeks from surgery.
Okay,
you know, and yesterday was the first day it felt good. Like I was like, okay, I'm good. Like I'm pain. I don't have any pain. I can sit here. I can do stuff. You know, it's definitely good. But for anybody that's done it, I don't know how you do it alone. I don't know how you do it alone. I don't think that's possible. I don't think that's a possibility. I don't think you could. My daughter is super tough. She's had to pull my pants up, bare weenie out, like she's had to put.
No.
My daughter's been putting my. You talk about grit. My daughter's been putting.
Don't let your daughter put your underwear on.
She's been putting my underwear on. Help! I have her come in here. I'm standing with my walker. And she's right down there, right with my wiener. Like she pulls him up to my knees. I can get the rest of the way. She's tough. She's G.I. Jane. I'm making her tough.
I remember at the end of my grandfather's life, when he was 90. I did have to help him.
Yeah, had to pull his dungarees up.
One time.
Yeah.
I think it was the only time in his,
I can get him up to my knees.
Entire life that someone's helped him put his pants
his grundies.
And I didn't mind doing it, but I looked at his eyes. He's like, kill me, because he did not want any help, and I couldn't imagine.
The amazing was
your daughter.
I think it's the daughter-daddy connection. Like, she'll bring me a drink. She's like, you need extra ice? Let me make sure you're right. Let me help you with this, Daddy. Let me fold up your walker, Dad. Like, I mean, it's like having a tiny assistant.
When are you going to be able to walk normally?
Supposedly I'm off of this in 2 more weeks. And then
2 more weeks?
Yeah.
So a month on a walker?
Yeah, 4 weeks on a walker and 2 weeks on a cane.
A sick, rad, raspberry aluminized
I
walker.
hate this walker. I hate this walker so much. This is my wife's trick.
Have
Funny.
you tried walking without it?
I can't.
No?
No, I mean, like, I can, but it's just too much pressure on the right leg still. You can feel it.
Gotcha.
Like, you can feel that and if you stand and put pressure on it, and I think that's what they're worried about. Like, the surgeon keeps telling me, like, he's like, you got to be gentle movements. So I'm just doing what he says, because I guess the opposite of that is I overextend myself, could pop the thing out of my socket, or the bone doesn't heal correctly because I'm moving around too much.
We are still going to Monkey Joe's next week, right?
Yeah. And I got the jump all day pass. yeah.
I remember when
100%.
Monkey Joe's was open 2 months into COVID, and I called it Corona Joe's. And I
did call it Corona Joe's.
Every time I pass by it, because it's on my way to work, I'd be like, oh, Corona Joe's open again.
Going strong.
Yeah. And then I was like, who's in there? Anyway.
What happened to the one sweet tomatoes they brought back in California? They're like, we're just testing it out. Well, how long do you have to test it? Come on, let's get this thing going, man.
Test successful, I
Yeah,
assume, right?
I love a good salad bar soup bar.
yeah.
Come on, man. They get the mini corn muffins.
You know, subpar pizza, but it's right there next to the good soup.
It's more of like a flatbread. It's
Yeah.
less of a pizza, more of a flatbread, I think.
So I got an idea a long time ago about traveling and being put to sleep and then being woken up after you get to your destination.
That's kind of what I did my entire spring break.
The Mr. T?
Yes, yeah, the
because
Mr. T.
they finally did. I was taking the tramadol, and that wasn't working, so they finally did call in, like, I got 8 Oxycontin. Wow, thanks. So I had one.
They only give you 8?
Yeah, I had one good day. I had a good Thursday.
Yeah, but how good was it?
Oh, my God. Dude, when's the last time you've had one of those guys?
Yeah, it's been a long time.
I blacked out. Like, I don't even know what happened. But I know I was moving around the house, and apparently at some point I was doing karaoke. It's great.
I like how you're like, I've been paid, I need pain pills, and they're like, we'll give you 8. So I'm like, all right. And then you were like, well, okay.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to turn it down.
No.
You're like, I'll take the 8. But anyways.
Because it used to be, we'll give you 800. So now we're on the other side of the pendulum, you know?
Let's just go back to
Why
normal.
can't we go 30? Why can't
The standard.
What's wrong with 30?
No, there's no happy mediums
Why
in this
can't you
world.
guys
I'm
just
sorry.
give? No, I'm saying for all pills. I'm saying for crazy pills, for aspirins.
Just
for
30 is the
any,
standard.
30 is what you get.
One a day for a
Why
month.
do you even give 5?
And-
Why do you even give 8?
Here's the thing, at least a 12-pack. Things come in 12.
I'm standing firm on 30. I'm standing
Eggs,
firm on 30. If you
donuts.
get a Z-pack, it's 30. Anything. It's all 30.
So anyway, and I thought about this because of Ross. Have you been watching the show Severance?
No, but I'm kind of familiar. I love Adam Scott.
Is that the
so,
goats
like,
in the Apple Store show?
Yeah.
I'm mad at that show just because they have that really, like, I think he's super attractive and cool-looking black guy with the good afro, and then I see all the goats.
Mr. Milchek.
Yeah, I see Mr. Milchek. I haven't watched one bit of the show. I just look at the good-looking black guy with the cool afro, the goats, and I'm like, I want to watch this show, but here's the problem. Everybody's watching it, so I can't watch it now. You're all watching it, so I can't watch it.
Me and Crystal started watching it a while, obviously when it came out,
Yeah.
we waited for season 2, and then it actually got me back in because the finale was really good.
Mr. Milkshake.
But it's the weirdest show on TV. But anyway, the whole premise is this company basically invented this computer chip that goes in your brain that severs you, your consciousness when you go to work. So it's the theory behind it is like people
You try to do that here, right?
I can do it myself. Take that, Severance.
He does his own Severance.
Take that, Milchek.
I see him. As soon as he walks out the door, he goes, a marijuana pill. He wipes his mind clean.
And my eyes do that.
Yeah, he doesn't even know he's driving home. But I saw a goat in the back of your truck.
And so in the idea being that when you go to work, you have no memory of it. And then when you like leave work, all of a sudden you go back into your normal self, and you have no memory of working. So then life's better without having to go through the arduous work process.
So is it at work you have no memory of personal life?
Yes.
And in personal life you have no memory of work.
Yeah.
So they're perfectly separate entities.
Yes.
Supposedly until they're combined.
No,
right?
no.
Right? Did I ruin the whole thing?
No.
Because it's not that creative.
The barriers start.
Not that creative.
No, what's creative about it is essentially then you're creating this work consciousness that is never allowed to leave work and is a completely different person. Because
Perhaps it wears some sort of bear suit.
Perhaps this is a metaphor for what people do in their own jobs and careers.
Anyway, you guys know Severance. That's out there.
Yeah.
But I started thinking about back to my traveling idea, because I had this idea.
You are
like
the Ron
Mr. T.
Popeil of our show. You always have an idea.
Because traveling sucks, and it's gotten worse.
It's a lot.
And it's there's a lot of reasons it's gotten worse. I think some of it's COVID, some of it's just the expense, and like people, the airlines are trying to make it more and more cheap for people to fly. Therefore, you're taking away all the luxury, and most flights don't even serve we barely get water and some you know what I'm saying.
That's hilarious to me that you're like you barely get a little cup of water
and
you get a pack of.
Yeah,
I do like those cookies they give you.
Last time I flew, they were down from half a can of Coke to a third of a can of Coke. They do a third, and then a middle third, and
I don't
then
like
they
the
crack
little
another
cup.
one middle. Yeah,
I don't like the tiny cup either.
Yeah.
And don't open it. I'll open my own.
Do you remember getting hot meals?
Oh, yeah.
Like back in the
Dude,
90s?
on my first
they
class
serve
flight,
hot meals.
When I was flying to California, I
Well,
got
first class
I
they
got
still do.
fettuccine Alfredo and a baked garlic roll.
Yeah, but like first class they still do. But I remember like flying to L.A. and them still serving like meals.
Yeah, you got like a sandwich or something.
or some sort of like there would be like maybe the hot meals would only be first class, but
You
you
get like
get
a turkey
meal or
sandwich, a bag of those chips. JetBlue, they partnered with that company that has the Peruvian blue potato chips, and JetBlue, somebody got a raise. They're like, blue potato chips, this guy's a genius.
And I don't really care because I just want to get to my destination, but it really is bare bones now.
See, I do really care.
Like the people
out of the two
traveling
of us,
are
I
horrible.
care, right? Like I'd be very angry.
Well, you can still pay for it because there a lot of things here, but
what are you, baby? You can't handle your own food. Like we'll do the travel. You handle your food. How about that?
the being
Team airplanes.
and then like a lot of times. And did you guys know there's more turbulence now than there ever was like in the past?
Starlinks.
And it has.
I don't know.
I think it has. Like I looked it up because Crystal's sister, she's a flight attendant, and she says like 95% of all her flights have some sort of turbulence. And then I looked it up on the internet, and apparently, like because it's getting a little warmer or whatever, that there's like the jet stream winds have changed, and even in clear days, there's still like a level of turbulence.
Yeah, pretty soon we're just gonna be
across the
bouncing
globe.
around like knuckleheads up there.
And when there's turbulence, like a lot of times they'll suspend the drink service or whatever, but they'd be like, oh, for safety, or don't want people
I think it's
walking
for
around.
messes. I don't think it's for safety.
which is I imagine if you're a flight attendant, you're probably like, yes.
You should make
You don't have to do anything.
Yeah, but you should make the plane like the new Ford Bronco where you can just spray it out. After every flight, just pull up the mats and spray it out. It's got drain plugs.
I have so many questions about this turbulence data.
Okay, yeah,
or
yeah.
supposed
Yeah, yeah.
data.
Yeah, yeah.
What's the source on this? That there's more turbulence
I knew
than
you
ever.
would say that because the chat room lit up with people that
Look
don't
it up.
believe it either.
Well, I didn't. So, on both
we'll look it
flights,
up.
like I just recently, I got back last night at midnight. It was a rough, and I'm sick. I have a whole story about it too. But
Thanks for having me in today.
well, I mean, I got cold, and I got the cold in the middle of my
really
vacation.
Cold. I mean, cold is
Oh.
not really sick. Everybody knows that.
Yeah. But
You need to read the sickness page in our bylaws. It's posted at the door.
if I told you, you wouldn't have come in. You see what I'm saying?
If you knew he was going to get you sick,
Do you
you wouldn't have
understand?
come in here and do all the characters that people love.
Do you understand my motivation?
It's completely selfish, and it's quite possibly disrespectful in a lot of ways. But we don't think of that.
Yeah. I'm just telling you the truth. Anyway.
So are we talking like more airlines report more turbulence and like based on the flight attendants not wanting to serve drinks, basically, I think is what it comes down to at the end of the day, probably.
Well, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
So,
right.
Me and Crystal, like the flight over there.
I
was
like how you
turbulent.
drug her in here because there's when you drag her in, there's a possibility this is wrong.
So Crystal was like, my sister was saying that all of her flights now have turbulence, and then and she was saying that
this is true. Yeah, this is a real.
There's just more turbulence now, like clear air turbulence. Like everybody knows turbulence when you're flying next to a storm or whatever. But like flying back yesterday, I mean, it was clear as hell the whole
it was
ride.
Beautiful yesterday.
And then the pilot's like, oh, we're gonna have light to moderate turbulence the whole trip, and then basically 3 hours of just.
And
straight.
then he flips the turbulence switch on the
Yeah.
dashboard, and they don't have to say drinks anymore. Yeah.
That's what I do. That's what I do when I'm driving somewhere and I want to play mariachi music.
Yeah.
I'm like, sorry, the CD's stuck. I'm like, this is what we're listening to.
And then I thought
mariachi music. I love mariachi.
and then I thought, I was like, is it because they're going slower? Like if they go fast, like it would smooth out, kind of like my boat.
That's what my dad said on a dirt road.
Yeah.
He's like, go fast, you're rattling my goddamn kidneys.
You got to go top of the hills.
And they're trying to save gas money, so they don't go as fast as they like. If they reach the speed, there would be no more. But the corporations, like, yeah, you can't go that fast. You're burning too much fuel.
Yeah,
so
you're
slow
burning
it down.
all the fuel, Taylor Swift.
Let them be bumpy back there. Who cares?
Do you want to know the facts here? It says, let's see here. The short answer is yes, and it's getting worse. Clean air turbulence, or CAT, the kind that hits with no warning and isn't associated with storms, is increasing. In 2023, a study out of the UK found that severe CAT increased by 55% over the past 40 years on transatlantic flights. Jet streams, those fast, high-altitude winds that planes ride, are becoming more erratic due to global warming, which leads to more turbulence.
So, but I thought, so anyway, the back to my idea about being put to sleep, the Mr. T, and waking up, and
You just got to drink a cup of milk.
kind of in like
The Hannibal hands you.
ties into Severance, where it's like not wanting to go through something horrible that's part of life, right? And traveling, like the airports suck. The plane flight is turbulent the whole time. It stinks. Like being.
It's confined.
If you offered me.
Nobody screaming on the plane. You didn't have any Karens or anybody.
No, I mean not really that. It just
no MAGA nut jobs yelling about anything.
No, it's more of just the whole
everybody's
process.
wild in their own way now. Like you don't know what you're gonna get. You can get. I just like normal people now. Like I like boring people now. Love them.
It's just the food inside the airport's horrible.
Yeah.
I got a story about that later.
What did you get? Charlie's cheesesteak and crap your pants on the plane.
If you I had a service where it's an extra $1,000. It could never be this cheap because you'd have to be put to sleep with some sort of anesthesia.
$1,000 sounds pretty. I was like, dude, do you want to know what I paid for my leg?
Yeah.
No,
just for the anesthesia, I think it was $14,000.
Well, I'm trying to get like a reasonable price because if it was $10,000, I'm like, nah, I'm not doing it. But
to be fair, they had to keep you asleep while you were being sliced open. They just have to keep him asleep while he's wheeled onto a plane and flown to Colorado.
I feel like it's the initial burst is really the dangerous part. Everything else you can monitor with just a main line of grain alcohol or something, right?
Yeah.
I don't think you need you just want that propofol in the beginning.
That one where they tell you count back from 10 and we'll be, and then they're
and then we can just keep trickling natty light in your mouth as we're flying.
Yeah. But if you're able to put to sleep and they come and pick you up at home. And then all of a sudden you just wake up in your destination. That would be awesome.
But I want it to be I want to be able to get into a vehicle that looks like a plane, though.
What do you mean?
Are you putting me asleep?
I'm being put to sleep at my house.
They're coming to your house
and wheeling the air.
I want to see myself get into the plane.
Why?
Because I don't trust you. Next thing you know, you're taking a picture of my ding dong out. You're posing me at breakfast at what is it? I was gonna say breakfast at Bernie's.
Weekend at Bernie's.
I'll sign paperwork that you could do anything to me while I'm asleep. I don't care. You could do anything.
See, I'll see your Severance and I'll raise you Adam Sandler's Click. You start clicking through the slow moments of life. And then suddenly you find yourself at the end of it, and you don't even know what happened.
That movie passed me by. That was a movie that came out, and I was like, oh, I got to see that, and then it just passed me by.
The best part of that movie was that he goes to Bed Bath and Beyond, and he goes to the bed section, and he goes to the bath section, and then there's a Beyond section, and that's where he finds the magic.
And they're out of business now, which is crazy. You would have thought that Click money would have propped them up for a couple of decades.
the whole argument with severance is like you're missing a whole section of your life by not remembering, like you're causing life to go by faster, which would be, but
so they ripped off Adam Sandler's play. Okay, all right, I got you.
But I would make the argument that like there's nothing redeeming about traveling at all. Like nothing good. Not one time in the airport.
The speed of it, though. It's the convenience of getting to your destination.
No, but I'm
right?
saying the experience. There's nothing where I look. I'm like, so what? Like even there's some things that are horrible in life. At least you're like.
Some people love it though. Some people. I just love being in the clouds. You know those people.
I don't think that exists anymore. Like unless you're flying first class or like private or something. Like I don't know if anybody loves. Traveling
it's just something
economy.
to be endured.
Yeah.
Flying is just to be
Swallow
endured.
the pill.
Yeah.
So speaking of that, I got a story about coming back. Because I look at traveling like I just have to endure it. I call it
Get through this.
But you're good at that stuff, dude. I mean, that's called lunch every day at T&D Studios.
The old stare forward.
Yeah, he's like,
Yes.
must eat. Here is a bowl of slop. Eat slop. I am fueled. Back to work.
So every trip we go on, Crystal does all the planning, and like she rents the cars and the tickets, the airline tickets or whatever. And
I don't think Rip from Yellowstone would let his wife rent the car, but whatever.
Well, yeah, he would. He's completely under her thumb.
All these things, these little details, I don't care about either. So it's like whatever, transportation, airline, or whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Like the cheapest way out there is fine with me. Like not too cheap, but it's because it can. So Crystal,
Hot Tua Airlines.
much like Andrea, likes a bargain.
Oh God, Andrea loves a bargain.
She had.
I'm surprised my hip. I'm surprised I even got the good parts in there. I'm surprised she didn't make me go to one of her friends or something.
It was a Groupon.
Yeah, it feels like one.
So Crystal tells me, and let me run this by you, Ross, because you'll probably have the same questions that I had.
I'm sure.
So Crystal
seems to me he thinks I'm going to take a crystal deflection here.
She's like, oh, well, now you have to pay extra to sit together on a plane flight. And I'm like, what? And then I'm like, you just buy all the tickets, they just put you together, right? Like, no, you have to pay extra for that.
I've heard of this.
Right? And I'm like, what?
And there are people complaining about this.
Yeah. Well,
I've heard about this.
So I was like, well, when did they change that? I'm like, well,
they're nickel and diming you for everything, dude. I mean,
it's almost even worse than that because what they're charging you for is to ensure you'll sit together.
Yes.
So me and my wife didn't spring for this last time. Sat together anyway.
Yes.
It kind of is a doesn't even matter fee.
Yes, yeah.
Because they're basically going to, except in extreme circumstances, they're going to seat you in your group unless they don't. That one was. Oof.
Okay, yeah. So then Crystal's like, and then I'm like, well, they'll put us together.
What's the price though?
Huh?
What are they charging?
I don't know. It's just some upcharge. It's like $20 a seat,
$15 or $20,
yeah,
something
it's
like
small,
that.
Okay.
Yeah, per seat. Yeah.
Small enough for them to just to get the people.
By the way, if I pay for it, and my wife doesn't. Does she? Like, how does that work? Like, I paid for it. Don't I get insured? But she doesn't.
Well, they can ensure that you sit next to her, but they can ensure that she sits next to you.
Okay. And then when you say it like that, that makes sense.
So, I'm just like, and for me, I'm just like, no, don't pay. Just
they'll wherever.
They'll put us together.
Me in the toilet.
We got kids. They'll put the kids together.
Yeah.
No, that I've seen the ones online where they're like, they made our toddlers sit in the back next to the lavatory.
And then even then, I'm like, if we all get sat separately, whatever. We're just gonna get there. And I was wasting $80.
What's the worst is gonna happen? Crystal ends up sat next to Mario Batali or something.
Yeah, my God, he's groping her the whole time.
And I'm like,
his orange Crocs gleaming in the aisle.
Gleaming.
The kids just get on their iPad and just stare at it for hours, and they're zombies. So who cares? They'll sit anywhere.
Until they pass out.
You can put them under in a cage. Like they don't even know. They just look at their iPad.
And worst case scenario on a plane, what's that? Between two fat guys, they don't care. They're just in the middle of the seat. They're not even using the elbow rest.
Yeah.
That was the original title of the Zach Galifianakis show too.
Between two fat guys.
So then Crystal's like, "Well, I'm gonna trick the system."
I love it when they try to trick the system. Yeah.
So then she's like, I'm gonna pay for the kids to get the window and the aisle and leaving the middle seat untaken, right? And then they'll probably put me in the middle because nobody else would use
word. She put the probably on there.
and then so I'm like, okay. And then she's like, and then I'll put you wherever. I'm like, okay. And I'm like,
afterthought van.
But I'm like, does a human do this? Because like, or is it a computer? Because like, if a human's doing it, like they'll put the mom next to the kids.
I
But
don't
if it's
think
just
humans
random,
are doing anything. We haven't had
right?
human air traffic controllers since Trump got into right. Like I think everything is automated now. I'm into it.
This is way overthinking.
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is too much.
So now it ends up working every time or whatever, and that's fine. But
Well, then what are you complaining about?
Does she maybe have an insight into the system through her sister or something? Her sister's told her, like, hey, this is how it works, do it like this?
No, here's what's aggravating, Ross. I'm like, where'd you come up with this? She's like, I just came up with it myself. I'm like, did you look in the internet? Because the internet will tell you if this works. Because
Sure.
like, obviously, you didn't come up with the system and it's working. And
Well, she
like, the
thinks
internet
she
will
came
know.
up with a system, though.
And
Are you not going to let her think
Yeah,
she can?
well, I'm like, if it's a thing, it'll be on the internet, and if it's on the internet, then the corporation is gonna not let this thing
But
happen.
you don't
because
think
they're
there's a
full of
possibility
shit.
that
Right,
she
right.
could be the first person that
Yeah,
thought?
yeah, I don't
Okay,
think that-
okay,
no,
all right. I
I-
just want to take that out of
She's
the
very
realm.
angry
Yeah.
that I brought this point
Yeah.
up. That I should
Hence
not talk.
why you asked Ross, because I too
Yeah.
would have been insulted.
Anyway, so all the flights, it's Crystal and the boys, and then I get sat somewhere else. So which is fine with me because again, I just put in my podcast and stare forward at the screen.
Yeah.
And
Podcast, which means audio only.
Yeah.
and
You heard him earlier.
I don't watch podcasts.
I don't watch. I'm watching that. That's TV. That's a boob tube.
What are you going to do, stare at a head talking? Come on.
So on the way, but the flights on there, like on the way to your vacation, are always fine because you're excited about your vacation.
Yeah,
the
you're
flight
always
back
hung
home,
over with gonorrhea on the way back for the other one.
the flight back home sucks. And
Diarrhea.
and it sucked more yesterday because I got a cold in the middle of our trip, and like
Should have used airborne.
And it probably because I immediately got out on vacation. Like we worked hard to prepare, and I used it like basically the first day I got there. I just started drinking.
Oh yeah, that's what
candidly.
you do. You gotta kill yourself the first day.
Yeah. And I drank, and Crystal's like, "You gotta drink water. It's high altitude." I'm like, "No, I'm not doing that."
Yeah. Even after my surgery, 3 days after surgery, 12 beers. No, I'm kidding. I haven't had anything to drink since.
I got pretty hammered for like 2 days in a row.
It's fun.
And I think that probably is what got me. And then all of a sudden I woke up.
No,
I'm like,
you got seated in the rando aisle on the
Yeah.
airplane, and that's where all
true.
the plague dogs
You
end
sat
up.
next to Mr. Cole.
Yeah, everybody who refused to pick a seat gets put in the plague dog section.
And so also snowboarding while you're sick, that was so good.
It's hard to breathe.
Bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, and
My wife still wears a mask on planes because
Oh,
she
I
doesn't want to
gotta-
get
okay.
sick. Yeah.
so
And then she makes me and Maisie wear masks. And I'm like, you make us look weak when you do this.
Okay, all right. So
You
I
make
got a
us
story
look like
about
the
this.
weakest family on the plane.
I have a story because I see the people in masks. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, come on. That's what I say to my mind.
yeah.
I'm
I
like,
mean, even if it
on.
does
Even though I'm
work,
Just catch my cold.
even if it works, and I think it does,
okay, so
I don't want to look weak.
okay,
Come
so-
on, let me give you this.
Yeah, even though it ruined my entire vacation, me getting sick, sitting there,
He's
probably
doing
from the
it.
plane.
He's doing it right now with you, Ross.
Because there was a lady coughing the entire time next to me. I just stood there, took it. I felt the speckles on my face. So on the plane ride back, I'm sick. I get some Dayquil and I'm just like, it's gonna
No
be
water.
miserable.
Still no water.
Still no water. And I'm looking at like
Dayquil doesn't work, by the way.
and
It's not a thing.
because we're flying west to East Coast, like I'm looking at, and we've done this every year, so I'm like, we're gonna get home after midnight, and I gotta get the kids to school. I already missed yesterday of school, so I gotta get them this morning, and it's gonna be. I'm looking at they gotta get back to work, and it's horrible.
Yeah,
Like,
but it's my choice, though. I mean, you guys like to squeeze
I know.
in your time. It's not like
Yeah,
you could
yeah.
have flown back in the morning and
Yeah.
had like a little bit of your day to.
That buffer day is
yeah,
crucial.
I mean, but
you gotta have a
guys-
Sunday
the
in the
vans,
mix.
they run it to they're literally
You can't-
ski lift to the plane.
you can't fly back.
Sick snowboarding and there's 100%.
And from west to East Coast, you always get home late because of the time change. Like there's no morning flights. Anyway, so
None?
Quote Tom Van, there are no morning
You
flights
literally
out of
cannot-
the West Coast
You cannot
to the
fly
East Coast.
from the West Coast to the
well,
East
I'm
Coast.
sure some. You know, what I'm saying.
You have to leave probably late at night there to get here morning.
Yeah, it'd be a red light.
So
a red eye.
it is possible.
Yeah. But not the cheapest way either, which
Okay.
my wife likes.
I'm sure.
So anyway, this is the same scenario where I'm sitting separate from the family or whatever. Like Crystal's like, oh, you're a 33B or whatever. So Crystal,
Small, wide shoulders, but firm.
Just keep walking back to the plane until you see everybody sneezing, and then sit down.
It's like be the upper deck of a Magic game.
So I walk and then I'm looking at I'm like, oh, 33B, and I look over.
Oh, Ralphie May.
And no, it's what I like to describe as a Vail ski MILF. Sitting there, right?
Hey, oh my God! Make America great again, MILF.
And a tiny carrier case with a shaky Yorkie in there, right?
No, yappy dog.
Which is fine with me because I have more elbow room now. So it's like she's sitting window, and then the yappy dog is the aisle.
How big are her implants?
And,
though?
yeah,
Big
and
ones.
they're good.
They're good.
And so I'm like, all right.
Hell
and so,
yeah.
and then,
Blonde?
So I go, yes.
Does
and
she have the sort of the Colorado Southwestern?
Yes.
Yes.
Say,
I
like,
love that style.
Ugg boots,
Yeah.
tight pants, like rich, you could tell.
Sprinkling of turquoise.
Shaky pee-pee dog
Yeah.
that she got on there with her fake, service dog thing, like all the rich milk.
Big sunglasses, matching teletie in her hair.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm down for that.
Already kind of drunk, you could tell from
Wine
the
bust,
bar.
Wine bust.
And
She'd eat you like a snack, buddy.
But the dog's keeping an eye on her, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, oh, I'm 30, and she's like, do you mind if you switch seats with my dog? You could have the aisle. And then the dog in the middle say, I'm like, no
what
problem.
do I look like, a dog?
And I'm like, no problem. And then and then I sit down, and then she's like, oh, you here skiing? I'm like, yeah, I'm skiing with my family, and they're sitting back there.
Would you massage my feet?
And then we started talking skiing. I'm like, I taught my sons how to ski. And she's like, oh, yeah.
Snowboard. I spent the whole week snowboarding with a cold.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know how hard it is to snowboard with a cold, but it's pretty damn hard, and I toughed it out.
And so I'm already striking up a conversation with this Vail ski MILF about skiing.
What's your dog's name?
I'm about skiing, family values. So all this, and so
what's this, a Yorkie? I love Yorkie.
I love Yorkies. Who's your favorite country music superstar? Jelly Roll? Mine too.
and then so I'm like, all right, I got some.
You're doing it.
I'm like, it's not gonna be that bad, right? So then, everybody's on the plane or whatever, and then
This is awesome.
And then
you hit the lottery, dude.
So I'm sitting there. Then all of a sudden, I feel a tap on my shoulder, and I look up, and there's a flight attendant. She's like, "Sir, there's a."
Sure, your penis is hanging out of your pants.
She's like,
and it's bicked and looks weird.
Sir, that's the dog seat.
She's like, "Is your family back there?" I'm like, "Yeah," and they're like, "We have a seat for you. Come on." And then I'm like, oh, okay.
This is so Larry David. It's hurting my chest.
It's Chevy Chase, dude.
So I
This is a classic.
I get up and then I walk down back to the back of the plane.
Oh, in the backpack.
And
it stinks back there, too.
And so I see Crystal. She's waving at me. The kids, the boys
they're
are waving. They're like, hey.
Our hero.
And then there's a seat open on the opposite side of the aisle, right? And then I look over there, and there's two people sitting there, terrified eyes, masks on, right? and then apparently there was flight attendants in training. They were on that flight, and then they saw, and the flight attendants in training, they wanted to do a good job.
Yeah,
so,
they still care a little bit.
So, yeah. Mm-hmm. So then Crystal's like, oh, is this seat open? And she's like, yeah. And they're like, oh, my husband's up there.
We want to ruin our husbands. He has a really good seat with a hot MILF and a quiet Yorkie dog. And the lady will share some of her pain pills, and he can drink up there with her. We'd like to ruin that for him and have him sit cramped back here with us and the fat, ugly people.
Excuse me, miss, my husband looks happy. I want to do something about that.
He's talking to that MILF up
now,
there.
to Crystal's defense, she didn't know because she was in front of me. She was sitting before
you
the
could have done
She
what's your
did.
patented phrase? I'm fine. It's fine. You could have just said I'm fine.
She sent Max up there with an iPad on on a camera mode, and then she reviewed video, dude. Absolutely.
So I look, and then I look over, and then there's two
It's
people.
gonna be tight, like a jump seat.
Two people with masks on, bigger people, and
bigger
then
people like the mask.
and then the lady's like, there's a seat open, so it's next to these two people with masks on. So then I sit down, And I look over, and they have a ton of stuff they're standing on. Like they have stuffed all.
Yeah.
And then they're already wiping down everything with Clorox wipes, the whole screens. Like the husband's wiping down the entire window of the
By the way,
plane.
you're breaking the screens for those of us that need their screens later by wiping liquids in. Stop wiping the screens.
So
Stop.
So I'm sitting down, and then I'm like, and then Chris is like, oh, I got you a seat next to I'm like, oh, and then I'm like, God damn it. So then I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm putting in my AirPods. I call it the Stone Donkey. I take some edibles. And I'm just gonna sit there.
Did you just listen to your show?
Yeah, I'm just listening to sports podcasts, and then high off of my ass on edibles, and then I'm gonna stare forward, right? So then, so now an hour into the flight, right?
How long is the flight back?
2.5 hours.
That's not bad.
And
That's not bad at all.
So an hour into the flight, and I feel
that's your AirPods.
no.
You know that everyone knows that noise, right?
My Dayquil is running off.
I told you it doesn't even work. I hate Dayquil.
And then
I hate it.
And then so I start like
They take out the the anti-nasal congestion one. That's what makes you sleepy. So that the only difference with Dayquil and Nyquil is they take that one out.
Yeah.
And which one do you need the most? The one that keeps your nose from running the
It sounds
season,
a
dude.
lot like the turbulence thing. I don't know.
and so speaking
You
of my
can read the front of the Dayquil thing. It's not.
So my nose starts running, and then I start feeling the tickle in my throat, like I'm coughing. So I'm like I'm coughing.
Don't hide it. It makes it worse.
So
you
the-
can't hide it.
So
you turn and look at him. And, good thing you guys are in masks. Achoo.
Oh my God, he just coughed now.
So these people, I'm like, oh my God, these people next to me are gonna freak out. Like they had the seat open, and then
You should look right at them and cough right at them.
And so I'm trying to hold my cough in, and
It's
then
impossible to do that. That's how you get a butt tulip, by the way. Is holding your cough.
The only person who can hold his coffin is Dracula.
So it is
God.
torture to try to hold a cough
Yeah,
for
it's
2
impossible.
hours.
It's impossible.
Right.
You can feel your lungs moving. They just start like
You feel the cilia looking for oxygen. The cilia.
I'm feeling it. So and then I feel
your bronchial cilia, like searching for oxygen.
just wiggling in
I
there.
feel the mucus,
Yeah.
the cilia, like
You can feel all of it.
Like it's like I need to get rid of this
Yeah.
mucus.
Yeah.
So then I'm like trying to clear my throat a little bit. So and I can feel the tension from this lady next
my
to me.
God.
Right.
Right, because the only thing worse than a guy violently coughing is a guy like choking to death on his own flesh.
Or changing. He's doing the changing, like where you're turning into a werewolf. It's like,
So the we're having turbulence, right? So then I was like,
And the plane's shaking too.
these people must be terrified.
So is turbulence, and so then I was like, man, I hope there's such severe turbulence
That it blows their masks off.
no, that it causes like
Such a loud noise. I hope one of the
Yes.
wings breaks off.
Yeah.
So it makes such a loud, violent explosion noise that I can finally cough. This is what my dad did when he was on the date with my mom when he tried to slam the door and fart.
Yeah. So
Exactly.
I was like, if there's like a real bad turbulence, people are gonna gasp,
They
yell,
scream.
and I can cough.
You need a baby.
So I can clear my cough. So
Yeah,
then
this is called an auditory Mr. Bean cover up. Yeah, it's classic.
I need the
Castleberry
auditory Mr. Bean. So then, so like the turbulence, whatever, and then I'm like, at a couple points, I'm like, just have to cough, and it is a wet, disgusting cough,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it's a woodshed.
And then I'm doing, my nose is running like the Froggy Fresh. And I'm trying not to sniffle because again, this lady and the husband, Clorox, or the whole thing
The
standing
world
on
you live
garbage.
in about thinking about everybody around you is a prison.
Well,
It's a prison you're trapped in.
Because I imagine, like, I was sitting here, no one was sitting here. I was, we're wearing masks. We're trying to not get sick.
Well, they made you go there.
Well, my wife did because she's like, "Oh, get my husband." He said we left him up there with the MILF, even though she didn't see that.
Yeah, to be fair, who would you rather turn into a zombie in front of? This masked couple or your friend the MILF?
Yeah, the MILF didn't even care. She didn't even believe in vaccines.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%. Oh yeah.
She
You
likes
can
it.
tell by her boots.
I start coughing. You're like, good. She salutes me. Good American cough.
Ted Nugent.
So anyway, so then, so I'm coughing a little bit or whatever, and like sniffling because I can't help it. It's just like it's coming back.
You got a cold from
You're sick.
snowboarding.
Yeah. So
hammering beards.
So it is the worst plane flight ever because the entire
For
time.
them.
No, but also because I'm trying to hold my cough and hold my sniffles.
Yeah,
Is
that
there-
does suck.
Sometimes you can like alcohol it out, make yourself fall asleep.
No, they
or-
don't do it. You know, they don't serve. They
No
serve,
beers?
No service because of the turbulence.
You
I
didn't
can't
bring
do that.
Yeah,
You didn't bring a backup Dayquil?
No, but I brought back up weed, which causes you to be more dried out and cough more.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
because,
Yeah.
because I thought that I could, the more weed I took, I did this too snowboarding, and I took so much weed I forgot how to snowboard. and then for a minute I was like, I have to walk down because I am so high I can't even stand.
I believe that it does increase the amount of mucus that you create because my anesthesiologist said something about that when I did mention, because I was honest about using marijuana.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, yeah, you are real greasy in there. We were sucking everything out of your mouth. Oh, you were just producing all kinds of crap.
So then the pilot comes on and they're like, all right, we're preparing for our descent into Atlanta. And so we'll, sorry for the turbulence, whatever. We'll be on the ground about 20 minutes and be at the gate in like another 10 after that.
Sorry for the turbulence. Flips the switch down.
Yeah, to mild.
So I'm
medium.
like, oh, thank God, the flight's over. I've
we're
been
close.
this lady's probably been suffering next to me, listening to me cough.
And we're
shit.
landing at Atlanta, so I can go right to the Center for Disease Control.
yeah, exactly. And get
I
myself
felt-
tested. Patient zero.
I felt so
what
bad
this
for her, like because I'm like, and then I look over and she took her mask off. And then spent the entire rest of the landing and deplaning and no mask and her husband no mask.
you can't do that. You gotta ask her. You gotta go, hey, you gotta put that thing on.
So I was like, no.
No, you gotta have her put it on.
I was like, you were so close. I was like, why
would you do that?
I don't know. It was the most bizarre thing I've ever
Are you serious?
experienced.
So she did she did 2.5 hours with it on, and
Yeah,
then 20
listen.
minutes left, and she takes it off.
She took it off like with 20
Well, that I
minutes.
have no explanation for.
I know what happened.
Then she was like, all right, gave up.
No, they were sick too. And they were trying to keep you from getting
they
sick.
knew
But
you
once
were
you
sick.
released the Kraken, they were like,
They're
forget
like, oh,
this.
screw it, we're
It's
good.
in the air
Yeah,
now.
they're like,
Everybody's got it.
It may have been that.
Yeah, they're like, we got Cassowary Mr. Bean here. He already got everybody sick. We can take our masks off.
But it was the most bizarre thing because I was like, wait a minute. I was like, and then
That is bizarre.
And then
Did both of them do it or just one?
they both did it. They both took their mask off, and then
Did they have a conversation about it at all? Where they're like, one took
No.
their mask off, was like, hey, take your mask off?
They were dead silent most of the time, and
Maybe they think when you're only in the air.
I had no idea. And I was like, oh, bizarre. And then I was like, oh, they're gonna put it on like when we leave the
My
plane, right?
wife said she just gave up. She's just like, there's coughing. You're coughing. She's just like, oh, screw it. I like that one. I like the idea of giving up. That's funny.
And that was it. And I was like, that was bizarre.
my God.
And it was like you made it so far, and then I'm like, oh, definitely got sick after that. Anyway. Let's take a break.
Yeah.
When we come back, I got a couple of other small stories about the trip,
Yeah, man.
and then I want to talk about George Foreman and
Which one?
The one that just died.
I
Which one?
loved that joke. Like when, like and there's no too soon on it. I thought that was so funny. I laughed so hard. That is such a good joke. Like, did you see, like Ross posted? There's like George Foreman died. He just wrote which one. I'm like, it's so funny.
How many kids did he
I
have?
think 3 that he named that.
All
Yeah.
George Foreman.
Yeah,
And they
it's a
weren't
lot.
like 1, 2, 3. It was just that.
George Foreman.
Okay.
Yeah, just his name. That's cool.
And the grill.
Can you? You're fine with. You don't have to legally put the 2 or 3 behind their name.
I don't think
it
so.
could be the same exact
Yeah, I
name.
think it can be the same exact name.
You can argue with George Foreman about that?
Because they always get confused with me and Tommy at the airport. Every time they're like Thomas Van, and then like I'm like the second or third. Anyway, all right, we'll be right back.
Got it. Great.
That was funny.
I did not expect that. Baby Bull says, y'all ever heard of the MD Foodie Boys?
What is that?
No, I've never heard of that. Luann boxed Frida Foreman in an episode of King of the Hill after Hank told George he was selling a novelty grill and not a real one. That's a real episode of King of the Hill?
How long did King of the Hill? I feel like that went on a long time.
A long time. 90s to 2000s, I think. And they're thinking about rebooting it with Bobby as the main character, but there's a lot of fake shit about that one. DeBerry Joe, I think it was longer than that, man. I think it was longer than 7 years. I definitely think so. 14 seasons. My wife, my daughter is just ripping through. Bye, babe. My daughter's ripping through Bob's Burgers. She loves it. We're like all the way on season 14 or some shit. Oh, that's right. They did. Okay. They had a 20-year time jump. Episode titles are out, and they have about 4 in the can before the guy that plays Dale died. And he's like such an important character because he was like the CIA bug man.
Oh, yeah.
Super funny. Like that guy now would crush because of the way, you know, there's such that weird hyper-conservative. Like he's been that character for forever.
King of the Hill?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The voice actor that played Dale. I forgot he died last year.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. It's all a CIA plot.
Boomhauer was in the Texas Rangers the whole time.
Is that the...
Yeah, like it aired weird, so it wasn't like the last episode that aired, but it was supposed to be the last episode. And you see like Boomhauer's like putting his keys away and stuff, and he takes out a Texas Rangers badge and puts it in a little drawer.
Oh,
or
okay.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. You want me to bring us back?
Sure.
It's 3 and 4.
Yeah.
Here we go. In 3, 2. Welcome back to A Corporate Time. Is there anything we need to remind people of? Because there's a lot going on.
Well, the BDM Only Appreciation Week party's coming up on April 19th. You have to be a BDM to be invited to that. We have a live band. We've got a whip show going on.
A whip show. What is a whip show? Well, it's where we hire a professional magician and whip master, a beautiful woman, to come in and
A
whipstress, and she goes whip crazy. And then we have the Silver Linings Band, and they're awesome. And it's just gonna be a hell of a good party. But you have to be a BDM.
Yep, and
You have to be a member.
It's crazy. The first BDM meetup had Big Ron doing an amateur whip show.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh my God.
All full circle.
You guys
oh my
are
God, I didn't think about that.
hiring a professional whipstress.
What are the odds we can get Ron?
I
like
mean,
he's a California boy
can you
now.
fly him out? I'm pretty sure that's
that
what
would
it
be pretty
take.
awesome. And he's down for whatever. What if she could whip his pants off?
What if they have a whip fight?
Because he has a tattoo that says BDM over his Pappas and D&B.
Now that you said you're gonna have somebody whip his pants off, I bet he'll pay for his own flight.
Yeah, he would do that. I think he would do that. And does he still have his BDM tattoo over his junk?
Yeah.
Where's it gonna go?
I thought maybe he got it covered up, but I'm too
off.
chicken to ask him,
Yeah.
right? Like I thought maybe it had it covered up.
You,
But
I'm sure
No.
the picture's already on its way.
I'm too afraid to ask
I'm
him if he
sure
ever
it's
covered
in your
it up.
inbox right now.
And he can grow his pubes to cover that up.
That's true. I always wanted a tattoo where I could grow my pubes to cover it up. I've always wanted it. Put that on my 2025 bucket list.
A lot of you guys didn't know the minute Tom meets you, he does a pube assessment. He knows
He
everything
does.
there is to know about your
He
pubes.
does. Oh my God, Righteous Gemstones. I saw Walton Goggins' weenie on the latest episode.
Really?
Yeah, he goes full nudity. Baby Billy's slinging his ding dong around, and he bicks it.
Yep.
Do you know
Baby Billy and Walton Goggins bicks his weenie.
Yeah.
He's
he knows.
Cecil on Invincible. I had no idea that was him.
Yeah, he's the main old
Yeah.
guy with the
Yeah.
white hair.
He's also in the new season of White Lotus, which...
Oh, it's a fake weenie. The chat room's telling me it's all fake.
Yeah. Most of them are prosthetics.
Put some hair on it.
That wasn't the real Goggins?
No, fake Goggins.
Ross, where are you going to be at? Any stand-up gigs coming up?
I mean, you can see me at the Bull and Bush Wednesday nights for open mic, or first and third Saturdays. for the comedy showcase that shall not be named. And then what do I got coming up? I'm gonna be at that BDM thing coming up.
All right.
And
April
that's about
19th.
it.
There you
That's
go.
about it.
All right.
So, you know how me and Crystal are trying to just chase
Have
adventures?
a third kid?
Oh, hey, that would be. I think she'd be down. Yeah, I mean, like you guys do seem to be addicted to.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
You live a Diet Mountain Dew lifestyle.
Yeah.
You're trying to give your kids experiences while they're still appreciative. Yeah?
Yeah, although I don't know if it's going to work out because people are like, oh, yeah, they're going to have all these memories and experience. But I'm like, if it's too much, then is it going to be, like.
Did you burn them out early?
Yeah, it should be special, right?
Yeah.
Like, it should be that you go on an
is the
experience every
joy-
couple of years. And then that's all like, oh, wow. If it's all the time,
I mean,
then it's all just a nothing,
This
right?
sounds like a cop-out. This sounds like a cop-out that cheap people say. But is it the adventure or is it the time spent? Like, I remember Ross would take his kids out to just stand on coquina rocks, like during spring break or something, and they'd just be eating an ice cream cone.
Yeah,
and it was
just as
literally
good.
it's pretty lame.
Uh-huh.
But to them, I'm going with you. I think it might be just as good.
Yeah. Oh,
Like
no.
it's like mega ski trip or coquina rocks with melted ice cream. I think they're neck and neck.
I'd argue
I think they're neck and neck.
coquina better.
Could be.
Because when
It's cheaper. It's definitely a value.
when you
There's a picture of you and your kids in my mind that I
Yeah.
still remember to this day of you doing that. And
I know
me-
the one you're talking
and
about,
it's
yeah.
burned in my brain as thinking, you don't have to work that hard, Dan. You don't have to work that hard.
Simple things sometimes.
Yeah, simple things. Seriously, I taught that from him.
But
Or I learned that from him. Sorry, I'm on pain pills.
it's also like I've learned this from the lady that was a YouTube child abuser monster.
Ooh, I was about to say-
Yeah, she's good. I learned a lot of stuff from her. I like her ways.
Then
Yeah, I
she
like the
started
way
a
she
YouTube channel,
screams.
and then
You
started-
said YouTube lady, and I was going to take a shot, and I would have insulted somebody real bad.
and now I'm starting to like. I'm like, well, she was yelling at her kids
Yeah.
to smile. Quit crying.
Look like you're having a good
Yeah,
time.
look like you're having a good time.
See, that's like me. I came in halfway to that movie Whiplash, and I was like, this guy's a great teacher.
Yeah, he keeps them focused,
Yeah,
right?
he's really inspiring these kids.
I had my soccer coaches like that, and I had a drum teacher that would whack your knuckles.
Yeah,
So, like,
yeah.
when I saw that movie, I was like, well, what's
I
wrong
mean,
with this?
yeah.
So anyway, I get this cold halfway through the trip, and then I feel like garbage. And then so Crystal's like, "How about we'll take the day off skiing?" But I found this thing that Aspen's doing, where it's a charity night skiing. Right, and they have a band on the Bud Light stage, and it's
all right.
and
Who they
downtown
got?
Aspen, and then they light up the slope.
They got a dad band. Hot blooded, check it and see. And you're skiing. That's your dream.
Yeah. And then I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
yeah. I'm
Yeah.
like, and then I'm like, yeah. I'm like,
Night
book-
skiing. That's an adventure.
Yeah, you're a little bit sick. Let's stay up all night in the cold drinking.
Do you like skiing? What if you do it in the pitch black of night?
And but they put lights up on the side of the mountain.
So you,
With
can really,
lights.
so you can really see the tree you're headed for.
Skiing at night with lights. It's just like daytime, except it's nighttime.
So I'm like, all right,
It's
yeah.
nighttime with lights, so it's daytime.
And I'm like, that'll be an adventure. And then I'm like, hey kids, get off your roadblocks and listen to this adventure.
Come on, Mountain Dew lifestyle. Mountain Dew, Dew Action Sports Store. Everybody in here. Pastrana on 3. 1, 2, 3, Pastrana.
I know
Thanks
it's.
for playing along.
You're welcome.
It seems like we could have just stayed at home and you played Roblox the whole time, and that would have been way better for you.
Seems like no one likes these adventures, including the people that have to spend all the money on them. What's happening?
But
Are they even collecting the regional Pokemon?
I'm like, quit playing your Roblox. Listen to this adventure that we're about to take you on. Night skiing in Aspen, dad band. And they're like, oh, okay.
You're making me cry.
And then, so I'm like, all right, book it. So then I'm
Book
like,
it. Book it.
so then I'm like, well, I'm like, wait a minute. I don't want to pay,
How
because.
much is it?
Dude,
Well, it's $600 a person.
the ski, okay. To
You
ski,
gotta pay the sun fee.
We-
You gotta,
okay.
To make sun happen at night, it's expensive.
we like to, okay, there's, Crystal likes to go to Snowmass one time on our vacation, right?
Yeah,
And they've been
because she likes to see how easy it is for you guys to pick yourself up from ground zero to earn money again.
They've been raising the goddamn tickets of skiing. Apparently, no one's like the rich people didn't get any poorer. They got richer.
We have
What?
skiing friends of ours. No, they're so so rich now.
Yeah, like if they're
The
just like
rich got richer?
Did you know this?
Yeah, I don't know if you know this.
Yeah. So they just
Seriously,
will
they got
pay
richer?
whatever.
But hold on, the poor got richer too, right?
No.
No. Here's another thing, and they care less.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
crazy.
And so, like, even we went to Snowmass one day.
But the middle class grew, right? Like that.
No. And so the damn lift tickets were $850
For all of us?
one day, dude. I was like, what?
Well, wait a minute. Do they get kid prices still or no?
Yeah. The adults are $250. The kids are $200. Like whatever the hell. It's not that big of a discount. It's
No.
And believe me, I looked. I was like, can you pretend to be 3? I'm like, okay, can you walk on your
A couple of
knees?
Goo Goo Gagas go a long way.
Yeah. I'm like, if we put you in a cart of some sort.
Yeah.
He's a pacifier, Tommy.
So anyway, so I was like, how much? And then Chris was like, oh, tickets are only $18. And I'm like, whoa! I'm like, I'll book it.
Yeah.
And so then,
$18 for some hot blooded.
so then I'm driving, and on a drive, it's like 45 minutes from where we're staying, and so we're driving there, whatever. It's
Driving on vacation is
I hate
the
it.
worst.
I hate
It is
it.
the worst thing.
Andrea always does that to me. Andrea, I'm
Anywhere.
like, we're going to ride the old train, right? And
Yeah.
she's like, yeah. I'm like, how long to the old train? She's like, it's a 3.5 hour drive to the old train. I was like, I'll just die here. I just want to die here.
the
I don't want to go to the
worst.
old train.
Yeah.
F the old train and the 3-hour drive.
I traveled to get here. I'm
Yeah.
not going to travel to another thing from
Yeah.
here. No,
I'm
the,
not.
the next travel is me traveling
45
back
minutes,
home.
nope.
Yeah.
So and the car ride there, I'm like, man, what an awesome adventure this is gonna be.
Do you always say that?
Yeah, every time. And then I'm like,
This
what?
is going to be the one.
I'm like, what an amazing nighttime skiing! Like, what? Who in Aspen,
this is gonna be the one
Colorado?
where my sons, they're going to go over a jump and they're going to 360 and turn to me at 360 in the air and go, thanks, Dad.
Yeah.
High five.
It's gonna be that.
Full moon in the background.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be that video, the TikTok video, the talking to the moon.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah.
And then they pan, and then it's a beautiful
Yeah, but it's
vacation.
you guys skiing.
yeah. It's all skiing, and there's a moon there.
Oh, Melissa, put me in the video clip.
And it's gonna be like, oh, and then this is gonna be the TikTok dream
Is
that I
Crystal
wanted.
building it up in her mind too? Do you
I don't know. I'm not talking to her at this point because I'm sick and she's bitching
And
at
you
me.
feel like crap.
And we've been yelling at each other for days because skiing
Yeah.
is hard and it sucks.
Yeah.
And the
But at
kids
least
are
your
just
boys
want to play
beg you.
Roblox.
At least they
Yeah.
beg you to take them.
I don't
Please
even
take
care.
us skiing, please.
And we're wasting all of our money.
These are the memories.
And then but I'm like, what an awesome adventure this is gonna be.
I cannot
So,
wait.
So we get there, and
You have to check in, tie your glow sticks to your helmets.
no, there's But I was
Right?
thinking,
Right? Don't you have to have a bunch of glow sticks on you? There's
So-
an element of sex here too, right? I mean, it's like dark and there's like
So we get
it's a sexy night.
like even getting the kids prepared for skiing is just
Yeah.
it's 15 minutes of straight hard work where my hands are numb. I'm buckling their boots in,
Yeah, it's a lot.
putting their warmers on, hand warmers,
Yeah.
because they're bitch about the being too cold.
Well, it's a lot of
feet
gear.
warmers.
Skiing is not convenient. Like the gear is not convenient.
I'm piling things on their head. There's falling all over the place. Like the gloves are like falling.
it's like putting on a robot suit
Yeah.
to do anything.
Yeah. So we get unpack the car, get on the side of the street.
It's one of the reasons that I'm not a
Have to
ski
urinate.
man. I don't like you have to put a lot of
so
stuff
it's a
on.
work.
Helmet, gloves. You
yeah.
got to put your hot chilies on. You got to tuck your boots on.
Everything's muddy from the day before because all the snow turns into a straight mud at the end of the day. So
But
you have
I
to
see
walk
that,
in it.
I see, like, when I see Crystal ski, like, when I see Tom's wife ski and how good she is at it and how effortless and, like, she looks, like, weightless when she's on the skis. And I see that. I'm like, oh, okay, I see it. But for me, as a bad skier, the whole, like, getting all the gear on, I got to the end of our ski trip, and I was like, I don't want to put this crap on anymore. I don't want to do
You're
it.
sore as hell from the day before. It's an insane amount of work, the high altitude. Anyway, so all the kids, we walk all the way down the street over, like, it's like 3 or 4 blocks walking. And the kids are ski boots pitching the whole time. We're walking
Well,
there.
you got to carry everything, right? You're all loaded up.
Yeah, we get there, and then there's the band. The
Oh, what
Bud
are they
Light
playing?
stage.
Oh, yeah.
It's a DJ, but he's DJing and they do, and then there's the lights and the whole
Right. I
mountain.
bet
whatever.
Max was happy.
And the kids are kind of like,
Yay, we have this in Roblox. they have a ski stage, and they have like, and you can walk up to it, and they just give you unlimited digital money.
Yeah. They're not there. I'm like, no, you just wait until we get up on there, and it's talking to the moon.
It's not cold in the Roblox version.
And then the snow. So I take one step onto the snow, and it is straight ice, right? So I'm like, king, and I'm like, huh. And then I look up at the mountain, and it's like the lights are shining, like the DJ's lights are shining off the mountain, and I'm like, it looks like the entire mountain's ice. And then I'm like, it is spring break.
Yeah.
It has been melting all day.
Oh, we're at Ice Mountain.
And then I was like, it was like 48 degrees today. All the snow just melting all day.
It just became a sheet
and then
of
it became a sheet of ice at
Yeah.
night. And then it all flooded into my mind. I was like, oh, $18 tickets. And then I was like, wait a minute.
Oh, it was a trap.
And then I was like, you know what? And now that I think about it, night skiing isn't a thing that people do. Like, this is the first time I've ever seen it. Right? Of all the trips out here.
never heard of
So
it.
I was like, if it was a thing that was awesome, it would be doing all the time everywhere, right? Maybe so. And I'm like, this is a one-off BS charity, horrible ice ski. And so then I look around, and then I'm like, oh, where do we show our tickets? And they just wave us.
We're not. It wasn't. That's my favorite when somebody does a charity thing, and it doesn't work. It's such a failure that they're like, just everybody come in. We failed.
They wouldn't even check. I went to show the passes we bought on Eventbrite.
You're the suckers.
They just waved us through. They're just like, anybody who shows up to go up
It's
this
free.
ice
We
mountain.
we didn't think this out.
Yeah. You want to go ice mountain? It's fine. Like, nobody wants
Go
to do
break
this.
your legs.
And then I look around, and it's all kids. Right? It's like none of the Aspen Rich decided to go because it's horrible, right?
Well, they're inside warm with their families playing Roblox.
So then I'm like, well, maybe it's not that bad. Maybe that, I'm overthinking this.
Give it a run. At least give it a run.
Yeah, give it a run.
Give it a run.
So I get on, and this is the first time I've ever been to this particular hill. Again, they only light a smaller, one section of it, So it's like the bunny hill.
I mean, it's still cool that they drug all the lights out there, I guess. All running by generators.
Yeah.
Band playing.
So then
playing your favorite Third Eye Blind.
So I'm taking pictures. I'm like, oh, it's nighttime, and the kids are like, all right.
It is nighttime. That's what they said. I'm playing the part of the kids. It's nighttime. It is nighttime, Dad.
and then so I'm not that good at snowboarding, right? So
you're not terrible. You never give yourself any compliments. You're okay. You're good.
I could do it, right? But I'm not good at it. And so when you get off the lift, you have one boot, and I've told the similar stories how I've fallen off the lifts, and it's embarrassing because everybody's around there. Yeah. They have to stop it or
and
whatever.
They all look at you, and you have to duck so the thing goes over you, doesn't kill you.
And I imagine everybody in the lift's mad because I'm mad when it stops for me. I'm like, oh, come on, even though I do it. I'm like, come on.
I'm like, these idiots.
God, get this Jerry out of here. And then then I fall. Anyway, so then it's coming up, and I'm like, oh my God, this thing is so steep.
Straight down.
Like off, it's like it's not a gradual.
Frozen tundra
It's just straight ice slide.
Oh my God.
Right? So then I'm like,
This
oh
is
my
like
God.
that slide that the cop goes down and it blows his belt off in like inner city Detroit. You know there's slides.
So I'm like, oh, why is it not gradual? And they give you no time. They just slow down. They're just like, and those chairs are whipping around.
Yeah.
So then we're with my family, and then also.
But you can't let them down either.
Yes,
I
have.
You're the hero, and I can feel the pressure in here.
Yeah, because I can't let them. Like, I'm the only dad. I'm the only dad there at this entire place. It's all
always
young.
a good sign.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No other dad ever was like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to this ice mountain. So I'm there, and so we
When
get
you're
up
the
there.
only dad at the roller rink, it's never awkward.
Yeah. I was the only dad at RDV. It was terrifying.
So it slings me off. I'm sliding. I immediately fall. So I
But how fast are you going? Hauling ass, aren't
But not only do I fall and then start sliding, and I'm trying
they're
to
stopping Ice
Okay.
Mountain.
and, like towards a group of teen skiers.
Oh, no, you go face first into one of their butts. I've always wanted to do that.
And I'm sorry. And then
That old man put his face in that teen's butt.
I crash into them. And so then I start just sliding slowly down the mountain, dude, because it's all ice, dude. It's like it melted and then immediately froze when it became nighttime. So it's just the whole mountain's a sheet of ice. So I put my bindings on. And then I get up there, and I'm slipping and sliding everywhere. Like, my legs are shaking, and I can barely, like, you have to catch edges on snowboard to be able to even do it. Some places...
Oh my God! Put your mask on. Put your mask on.
Sliding down the horrible.
What are your boys doing?
Well, they're like, it's not that good of conditions. Max eats ass. Has a yard sale.
What are you doing in my Max? What are you doing?
And his skis go everywhere.
Full yard sale?
Yeah.
Why would you do that to that little boy, that sweet little man?
So then I end up picking up his skis, and Max is like, he's got a bruise on his shin. He's like, I'm gonna. So anyway,
this guy always getting your family killed. Always.
So I go down there, and I'm like, I'll try to find you some ice cream, and then I walk around, couldn't find it.
What?
And anyway. The point being,
nothing you want more after being frozen and slid down an ice hill than a nice ice cream.
Bruise on your knee. I got you some ice cream.
Now, the most important part of all this is that if you go to my Instagram, it looks awesome.
Right. It does. Yeah, you got the pics.
Yeah. The Instagram photo is me and the family night skiing, the Bud Light stage in the background, and then everybody who sees it, like, this guy is number one adventure dad dream.
Number one adventure dad.
This guy brings his family night skiing in Aspen. Oh my God, he's got to come a long way. Then that's it. That's how life works.
You are well on the way to being an influencer mom. Yeah. You're nailing it.
You are kind of doing what she does.
So I just want to remind everybody that all the pictures that you see of awesome vacations, it's horrible.
Behind the scenes, everybody's miserable.
Yeah. Everybody.
A strong 70 to 80% of the photos that you see on my Instagram, a minute prior or after I'm arguing with Andrea. Of every photo we take.
Also, like, I forgot how cold it gets. Like, the first day we got there, a blizzard came.
It was cold that day, right?
And we went skiing. We were like, we'll ski in the snow because we normally don't do that. So it'd be like, this would be another adventure, right?
In the snow falling. I'm gonna preface. He does ski. You always ski in the snow, but ski in falling snow.
Well, in spring break in March, it's usually like sunny outside. It's actually like kind of hot, and then it's kind of the end of the ski season. But this was like a straight up blizzard came down, and so we go to the mountain, and we're like let's go to the top, and we're riding the chairlifts. We can't even see the lift in front of us. And then I take my phone out again with the Instagram. I'm like, hey, we're at a blizzard, awesome adventure. And then I'm filming everybody, and I put my phone back, and then in my hand, I'm like, yeah! And I'm like, oh my God! I put my glove back on, and dude, it was the most severe pain. I was like, wow.
Stings, yeah.
I mean, my hand got so cold that it was searing hot pain. And I was like, wow, it must be cold out here.
You started to get frostbite. The blood, I'm serious, the blood retreats from your extremities. And that pin prick pain that you feel is the blood coming back into the areas that it's evacuated.
And so we get up to the top of the mountain, and then we have to go all the way down. It takes probably 25 minutes of skiing. And the boys Max starts crying halfway through, and he's like, his hands are burning. And he's
this is grit.
My neck is burning.
You can never say, I saw the video of Tommy riding up with Crystal, and he goes, I'm so cold on the video. And she goes, but we're having a great time. She interrupts him like real fast. And I was like, that's grit. I even said to Andrea showed me this. I go, that's grit. You always ask about grit. These boys, they're tough boys.
At one point of skiing down, I screamed, don't stop! Because I was like, we have to get down. And then tears, I'm like, we can't stop. It's a pure whiteout, freezing. It's like 17 degrees.
He'll remember that. Remember the time your dad made you ski crying down the mountain?
Listen to my experience. And all this cost me only $10,000.
I do remember my dad calling me a bunch of words because the boat had conked out, and when he was towing me from Pontoon Island home, and I remember crying the whole time. I remember that, so I think they'll remember that.
Anyway, so George Foreman.
You want to talk about? He died, right?
He died. Now, when I saw he was 74, something like 75,
Yeah,
in the mid 70s.
Up there in age definitely for a boxer, right?
Which I saw like there was a bunch of comments of like, oh, it sucks, and I'm like, well, I was going to talk about the grill and stuff, but he had a good run at being a human being as far as his accomplishments, and he lived an average human being life. You know what I'm saying?
Ross and I have been,
were you invited to say that to his eulogy?
Ross and I are judging everybody based on the Mario Batali scale today.
Yes.
And he's better man than Mario Batali.
That's true.
Yeah.
And
Arguably a better chef.
And think about
touch more people's lives.
The amount of like head trauma he experienced and hard living early on as a young boxer and stuff. And
started in 68, 69, became famous in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
The grill that we all know of, I mean, that's really, I mean, more people know him because of the grill than boxing, right?
He made more money off the grill.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
And that grill is a crazy story. And there's probably a documentary about it, but I researched a little bit about it on the plane because I was like, how much money did George Foreman make off this grill? Apparently, like, it was just a perfect right time, right place where someone is like, hey, will you be the celebrity endorser of this grill? And he agreed to it with a share, like he'd get 40% of the profit or something.
The Sultan Company. A lot of people may have, like, they made little grilling presses.
Sure. But they didn't mean to make the George Foreman lean green grilling machine.
Yeah, before the lean green grilling machine, they made a product that I've told this story on the show all the time. My buddy Chris, the one that wouldn't clean up his bedroom at the beach house I lived in St. Augustine, had that little Sultan sandwich maker.
Yeah.
I threw it in the ocean. That was their main product.
Yeah.
You would take 2 pieces of bread and you'd put whatever you want in the interior of it. It would make like a Hot Pocket.
And kind of press it together at the edges. Yeah, I remember
but I
those
threw
things.
his in the ocein because he was a stinky bastard.
Hilarious.
Because it essentially just a hot plate, a sandwich hot plate that and there's, I was telling Daniel, there's a comedian that's got a whole bit about the George Foreman grill, about how ridiculous that it has no on-off button or regulate the temperature or way to clean it.
Yes, it's got a light.
There's
a light.
Yeah. And
green and red. Or sometimes it's just one light. It's just like, what? Oh, no, just wait for the green to come on. That's when you know it's preheated.
But guess what? There are people out there can't handle like 1 through 10 on the temperature dial. It confuses them. It's too much for them. They need the thing to just come on and be the temperature that cooks.
And apparently that's the way that was the secret formula, because there was a stat that 15% of America owned a George Foreman grill.
Oh yeah.
15%.
100 million units.
He was making $5 million a month at one point, and then apparently they bought out his name rights in '99.
You know why?
Like $110 million.
Yeah, because he was getting paid 40% of the profits.
Yeah. So they
had to manage that. They couldn't keep giving him 40% of the profits.
Dude, so
that's an insane deal.
In 1999, he got paid over $100 million for
150 million.
100. Yeah, like that is an insane amount of money in '99. You know, like, and
I mean, it's estimated. You can big ball it. What I mean by that is, it's definitely over this number, but you can guarantee 200 mil he made.
Yeah, which is, and all he did
at least 200
is endorse. He didn't have to build it. He just endorsed it. And
do you remember
crazy.
this one? I pulled up a couple of other funny stuff here. Let me see if I can pull this up so people can see it. Do you remember this one? This is the George Foreman Jackie Chan combo grill.
Oh, Jackie Chan and George Foreman?
Yeah, George Foreman and Jackie Chan did a whole grill together that
and it was the height of infomercial too.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
It was like the perfect storm of why this worked.
Yeah, it was like
because the product's not that good. Right?
It was like, I guess, to break over. This was their version of breaking over into Asian markets.
And what was did it come with like a rice cooker or a heated wok or something?
No, really.
I'm just trying to
honestly, it
spitball why it was a Jackie Chan edition.
They turned it sideways.
To go along, wow, that's hilarious. To go along with what DC's saying, or Tom, I think they just put Jackie Chan on the packaging. I don't think they changed a damn thing. I think they were just like, well, we got a boxing black guy that everybody loves. He's like an American icon. We need somebody for Asia. Everybody loves Jackie Chan, squeaky clean. Slap him on the box. They're holding hands. Boom.
He also punches.
Here's another one. Here's another one that was it wasn't as popular. This is the Carl Lewis grill.
What?
Carl Lewis.
World's fastest man, Carl
Yeah,
Lewis.
now what he tried to do, his was the Carl Lewis
Speed it up?
family-size health grill. No, he went all healthy. He was like, this is a healthy grill.
Foreman pitched that too. Remember the fat would run
Yeah.
out the end and fall in that little cup that you would lose, and then have to put like foil or something
Yeah,
in
or
the
you
bottom.
put like
or,
paper towels.
yeah,
under
yeah.
it or
Eventually,
something like
that cup would
The
disappear.
fat, it drains the fat out. It's
And-
the lean green fat grilling machine.
And the other accessory it came with was that dumb, thin plastic pressed out.
It was a
spork.
three-pronged.
Yeah.
It was a three-pronged rounding fork.
And it fit
I
right.
hated that.
It fit right in between the grill lines, so you could clean it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you know what everybody did with that? You do it one time, and you're
Yeah.
like, oh, where's this thing been all my life? You put it in the dishwasher, and it melts.
Gone. Yep.
Every single time.
That's
Every George Foreman grill I've had, that little three-pronged roundy fork, I melted in the dishwasher every single time.
And there was an overlap of time where like I was too poor to get it, but I desperately wanted that George Foreman grill that was like on a stand,
I
like a
just
real
looked at that
grill.
one. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That
yeah, yeah.
was I wanted that
Yeah.
so
I think
bad.
my dad almost wanted one of those. My
Dude.
dad was a charcoal and gas man.
Yeah.
But he saw the George Foreman grill because it was like, he was like, you can use it inside.
Exactly. And it kind of felt like the future too. It kind of felt like there's a new kind of grill out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like when infrared cooking came out.
Mhm.
Like Andrea's
Yeah,
dad
yeah.
got me an infrared turkey fryer. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
An infrared turkey fryer? It's not that impressive. You know, it's a heat lamp inside a box. And you
Sure.
put the turkey in it, and the heat lamp cooks the turkey.
But it's a testament to like CTE not being that bad. The fact that
Well-
George Foreman,
He could have been bad. He just had to say simple things.
that's true. But think about how rough it must have been early in the days of boxing in the 60s and 70s,
Oh,
where even training you would get knocked out or a hardcore head trauma. They'd put smelling salts and like back at it. I mean, you would take multiple concussions a day, right? Like horrible head trauma all day long, and then just like they didn't have any of the sports science back then. Where it's
No.
just like the abuse
I mean,
this guy took.
A
in his
lot of
body.
them smoke cigarettes and drink a beer after the game, you know,
Yeah,
or the
you eat
match.
a steak.
You know?
you
Yeah.
know, like,
Yeah, Tom and I were talking about like you think about George Foreman, like he ends and then he wins and then he goes back to his locker room and he puts on like burgundy bell bottoms and like a gold shiny shirt unbuttoned with some nice gold. He smells good, looks good. He walks out to some like brown gold Cadillac. He's
Yeah, yeah.
smoking a cigarette. There's like whores all in his car. He drives
Yeah,
off to he drives off to Del Frisco's on Lee Road,
Yeah, yeah.
right? And he goes in there and he has like a steak. And the girls are around, and he's got those hot black girls with the big giant afros, and he's got a big afro, and
Yeah.
it just looks cool. Late 70s steakhouse,
Like-
cocaine.
You're a top,
right?
you're a top athlete, but somehow you still have high blood pressure. Really, you know what I'm saying? Your blood pressure
Yeah,
is like
'cause you just
200
beat
over
people
100. Yeah. But like you are
You're
technically an athlete, but you're smoking high blood pressure.
Yeah.
And it's
You're drinking like a glass of wine.
Nothing but beef.
Yeah,
Just
there's
all
no
beef.
vegetables
Oh,
there
yeah,
at
not a
all. There's
green
no
in sight.
sides.
Nope.
Like I think nowadays, like there is some sort of treatment you can like boxers can get after you get a concussion, and even like
Yeah, it's like that
athletes.
pill that gay guys can take, and they can just go
Not get AIDS.
crazy in the streets and not get AIDS.
But like
I
there,
was like, is that just for gay guys? Because I want that. Like, can I take that too?
there is
What is that?
sort of like treatment for like brain trauma after you get it, like that like reduces any long-term effects. of it.
really?
Yeah. But it has to be done after the trauma. But like back
Let me guess.
in the
it's an
70s,
anti-smoking laser.
it's some sort of thing that it probably all like even NFL athletes probably get it if they get knocked out during the game. They probably get the treatment. You know,
The chat room saying we should throw some TB12 concussion water on it. Did Tom Brady sell concussion water? Is that true?
No.
That would be hilarious if he did.
But it's but anyway,
I
like,
don't know. I'm not a huge boxing. I'm not real deep into boxing, but I wonder if George Foreman's style led him more to resistant to that. I wonder if he took like more body blows than headshots. Is
He's
what
a
I'm wondering.
he's a
Because
huge
'Cause
guy.
He was big, and I know that
And he
let
was
people
powerful.
and he would let people rough him up a little bit. But I think more of the body stuff, and he would kind of protect his head. I wonder if that protected him a little bit more from CTE than a guy who would just trade blows.
Also,
Definitely the most lovable boxer, right? Although I
yeah.
would say that Mike Tyson has made a run in the last couple of years.
You're right. Yeah.
You know, he really turned himself around after the rape.
yeah. No, you're right. Like people nowadays, they look at Mike Tyson. They love Mike Tyson.
They might love Mike
He
more
does
than
podcasts.
George, and George has all day been good.
But George was feared. Like people were afraid of him back in the day.
His
he was
power
a
punches were
presence, and like he was like a scary boxer in the style of Mike Tyson that people were afraid to get in the ring with. And then he did do that affable switch. He'd start smiling and joking and became affable.
Yeah.
Do they still sell George Foreman grills right now with his name on them?
Yes.
And now that he's dead, do they take that away?
No, I think it lives on. I mean, they bought the rights out from him.
Yeah.
You know, like for $100 million, which is like.
But it doesn't mean anything now.
Yeah, but I think people look like, especially our generation, knew
Who could be the new guy?
grill more than
Who would be the
boxer.
new guy? Who's
Conor
the,
McGregor.
Who's the new? I thought about
Conor
that.
McGregor grill.
He's not nice enough. We need someone that
What?
is tough, but is also lovable.
He needs to do the flip. Just like Foreman, just like Tyson. Conor McGregor does the flip. I'm not fighting people in bars anymore. Now I'm a grill salesman, and I'm affable.
But he's got so many sexual indiscretions, and he's got some rape things going on. And
Does the
John Cena grill, somebody said in the chat room. That's not bad.
I don't know if the celebrity endorsement works with the internet nowadays, because
I think it does. These pump and dump coins. These influencers are the new celebrities, and they get their dumb fans to buy stupid stuff, right?
It's the John Cena grill. You can't see grease.
Mr. Beast, he's doing it. Mr. Beast is selling his crappy candy in 7-Elevens, and the only reason kids buy it is Mr. Beast. It's not good
I know.
candy.
Yeah, you're right.
They buy it because he made that one video where he was in the 7-Eleven and he took that kid to buy toys or whatever, and they think it's gonna happen to them.
But for adults, though, because if someone presented you a cool concept that you weren't aware of, right? I guess this happened kind of like with.
I don't think there's any
black...
concept anyone can show me that I'm not aware of.
Well, I'm saying you could just look it up on the internet and find a bunch of different versions of it. You know what I'm saying? With the George Foreman grill, it's like, oh, I never, you ordered it on a catalog, or you called the number and you ordered it off of the telemarketing or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there was no way to find other versions of it.
Yeah, we had to buy ours online.
Yeah.
This is before they were in stores.
Yeah. And then so now it's just like there's so much options that it seems like that having that one option of a thing, it doesn't really exist as much, So by having the celebrity endorse something like that, I don't know if it would work, right?
You'd have to have every celebrity endorse it to get everybody.
Yeah.
You got a wide spectrum. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Mario Batali.
I
think he's the guy.
So
do you guys currently still have a George Foreman grill? Do you use it?
No.
Can you remember the last one you had? We still have a version of it that we use. On my wedding registry, I ordered, it's like a George Foreman grill. It's like a sandwich press that you can use as a George Foreman grill, or you can open it all the way, and it's just like a pancake griddle.
I was going to say,
we use that all the time.
Your Blackstone phase that everybody's going through right now is you basically got half of George Foreman grill right there.
I'm out of my Blackstone. I'm out of my Blackstone phase.
What happened,
I feel like
I went hard on the Blackstone phase in the beginning of the pandemic, and coming out of the pandemic, I'm back into pots and pans now.
Yeah.
I'm pots and pans Dan. Everything I do now is a saute or in the oven. It's weird. I don't know what happened.
I'm not against your flat top cooker, but there's more splatter involved.
Yeah.
There's just so much more grease splatter.
It takes a lot of work to get it going. You got to get out there, scrape it.
I got a big cast iron double burner flat top that I'll put on my oven for if I want to make smash burgers or something or pancakes or whatever, and it just splatters everywhere. I just accept that, and I know I'm gonna have to clean up. Yeah.
Yeah. Essentially, it's a pan, right?
Yeah, it's a big giant pan.
No, essentially, it's an edgeless pan. You know the part of pans that contain all the grease? They took that away. And then the other part of the pan, you like the handle? None of that either.
No handle here.
Make it big and hard to store.
And make it no matter what you do, make it produce grease on just keep producing grease.
Yeah. And it's like we used to cook on one of those when I worked at Substantial at 16 years old. There was like a big sub grill, giant flat top, and it's like, yeah, this is good for commercial cooking.
Yeah.
when you
And
have
at
to
the end
cook
of the day, you
100 cheesesteaks.
A bunch
Yeah,
of stuff.
and
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you scrape 30 gallons of waste into a vat.
Absolutely.
But you can't do that at your house. So then
Yeah.
you end up, it's just
But
everywhere.
also, it's like you break out the Blackstone to cook your family some cheesesteaks. Like, how often are you gonna do that? And you're cooking 3.
And I feel like I'm the guy.
You
Let's
cook
talk about that for a second.
400.
I feel like I owe the listeners an apology because I feel like I was the original. Oh, you got to get a Blackstone. I feel like I was the
Now,
Blackstone
everybody
guy.
did it.
Yeah.
And I did it, and I loved it. And I said, "Oh, I'm using it once a week." I haven't used that thing, and it's gone the way of my electric scooter kit. It's just, it's not gonna.
How's that going?
I don't even know where my scooter's at. Now. I don't even know where it is. I have
But-
no
Well,
idea who
no, you
has
gave
it.
it to the guy.
I
He's-
gotta track it down. He's having some issues. He may have given it to another guy.
Dan, what if we took your Blackstone? We put like, I don't know, 2-inch risers.
I'm gonna give it away. I'm giving away my Blackstone for BDM Appreciation Week.
We put like 2
Can I
inch,
do that?
2-inch risers under the back legs, right? And
Yeah.
then we suspend another Blackstone upside down above it, and we put the food on there, and we
Big Foreman
lower,
is the big foreman.
lower another Blackstone.
You wanna make a
towards
big
it.
foreman?
Yeah, it eliminates splatter.
Let's make the world's at our BDM Appreciation event. Let's make the world's largest working George Foreman
That's
grill.
such a great
and
idea.
I'll dress like a steak, and you can cook me.
Just 2 Blackstones. The
Yeah.
lower one.
The upside
Yeah.
down one's gonna be tricky, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we can do it. I know
Yeah.
we can do it.
We
Me and
have
Ross
the
can just
technology.
hold it. We hold it upside
There
down.
you go.
And we'll press-
Yeah, but we got to tilt the bottom one a little bit so the grease drains off.
Yeah,
you know?
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that. Very good. But I haven't used that thing, and it's out on my balcony, which I don't even think is allowed in this area anyway. I just put it out there for space.
yeah.
Like, you're not
It's
supposed to
too
be
giant.
You're not supposed to be cooking on your balcony. You could burn the entire townhome down.
is it gas?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it's
you
got-
shouldn't have that on the
Yeah,
back.
you shouldn't
Yeah,
do that. But
absolutely
I've done it. I've been out there during the pandemic. It kind of felt like a lawless.
Kind of
area.
had to.
Yeah, you were like, I'll cook on this balcony, and
Yeah.
no one will care.
What's the worst that could happen?
But now I'm giving away my Blackstone for BDM Appreciation Week, and it is really greasy.
And then you're supposed to be able, like, they'll get rusty.
Yeah,
and
mine's
then-
rusty.
And then you can scrape off the rust.
no. I'm just gonna push mine off my balcony.
And they're like, oh no, the rust is fine. I'm like, is it fine? You're just eating the rust. You're like,
They're like, oh, you gotta oil it up again. So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
gotta go to Ace Hardware and get yourself a little can of that. It's called Bacon Up. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
And then you gotta get a little thing of bacon up. You gotta smear the bacon on there, and you gotta burn it off 9 times.
Yeah.
Make sure you burn the bacon off 9 times. You gotta get it till it's smokeless. Then when it's smokeless, then you'll have a nonstick. Then you can cook eggs. I know you can. You're lying.
Yeah, it'll take you all day. Like,
And
okay.
it smell like crap.
Only all day.
Yeah, and you smell like crap.
Yeah.
And it's not that good. You go to Waffle House and have some guy do it for you for literally none, like easy, and you still smell like crap.
All right, let's get out of here.
Let's get out of here.
So Ross, you said Bullenbush.
Yeah, and check out Tots with Ross, the Orlando talk show with me, Ross McCoy, anywhere you get podcasts. We got a great one with Amy LaCour, who was on your show not too long ago. We had a pretty good episode with her, too. And Ram Davesy, the most recent one. And,
Yeah.
more coming soon.
There
So
you go.
smash that like button.
There you go. Smash it hard.
Also, sign up to become a BDM at tomanddan.com. Check to make sure you're still a BDM if you don't know, because a lot of people, you
I thought
change
you
your
were gonna
card.
go,
Or
if
whatever.
you don't know, now you know.
Yeah.
I thought you were doing Biggie Smalls. And if you don't know, now you know.
I had to take more Dayquil.
Now,
When he takes Dayquil, he turns into Biggie Smalls.
now when you go to that Florida Treasure Hunt website to look if you got like money in a bank account somewhere, it'll tell you like money in bank account, insurance payout, or if you're a BDM.
Jenna Hurt texted me over my
Yeah,
trip. That
I'm
she's
pretty
like,
sure she got hacked.
I found. Okay.
Yeah. She texted me she wanted to meet up with the Diddies and have sex.
She sent me. She's like, "You're on Florida Treasure Hunt."
Yeah.
And then it sent me a screenshot of Thomas Van and like $38.
Did you click that link? You got a virus now, buddy.
Yeah. And a
And I
cold.
was like, "What?" Anyway, all right. We will see you on the BDM show.
Yep.
That did happen, and I thought it was.
Yeah.
I thought it was that she got. So I was like,
I'm still pretty sure she got hacked. Like,
no,
'cause-
but I was like, Jenna, and then she's like, no, she sent me the whole thing. She's like, I've been spending my day looking up people in Florida Treasure Hunt.
See, she sent me one for Ross E. McCoy in like Tallahassee or something, and I'm like, yeah, that she got hacked.
I think
And
she
then
was.
she answered you back. I don't know. I didn't know how to contact her. Other than, like,
That's okay. Well, let's talk about it on the BDM show because my first thing was like, oh God,
Let me
got
pee
hacked.
real fast. be on the BDM show. Okay, guys, I'm going to shut this down and then get us ready for the BDM show. So.